The neuroscience of obsession. Train your brain for the impossible. They told you to find balance, to be reasonable, to take it slow, not want too much, not push too hard. But what if I told you that the very thing the world told you to avoid, obsession, is the one thing that could completely rewrite your life? You've been misled to believe that success is reserved for the chosen few, the gifted, the lucky, the geniuses. That's a lie. The truth? The mind you have right now, exactly as it is, can be trained, reprogrammed, and wired to achieve levels of performance that once seemed impossible. And it all begins with one decision: to stop being interested and start being obsessed. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how some of the most brilliant minds and elite performers, from Kobe Bryant to Steve Jobs, from Ironman champions to the most misunderstood geniuses, tapped into a mental state so focused, so relentless, it almost defies logic. But it's not magic. It's neuroscience. And if you're ready to turn distraction into focus, fear into drive, and effort into reward, then stay with me. Because this might just be the most important video you've ever watched. Central theme: obsessive focus on a single goal can produce extraordinary results. And it's not talent or luck, but trainable neuroscience. Imagine someone who wakes before sunrise, trains until their muscles tremble, studies until their mind burns, not out of obligation, but driven by a fire that won't go out. That, my friend, is directed obsession, a force that consumes without destroying, that turns pain into purpose. While most see walls, the obsessed see ladders. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience, pure, moldable, and available to anyone willing to train their mind. Some call it madness to live with such intensity, but isn't it madness to go through life never knowing what you're truly capable of? The brain, by design, is built to adapt, to reshape itself around clear objectives. What separates the extraordinary from the average is not intelligence, but emotional meaning behind the mission. That emotional pull triggers the brain's motivation circuitry, unlocking powerful surges of dopamine and laser-like focus. Steve Jobs wasn't born to build Apple. Kobe Bryant didn't exit the womb spinning a basketball. Einstein, he failed in school. But they all had one thing in common: a trained mindset, grounded in self-discipline, repetition, and an unshakable sense of purpose. When you realize that high performance isn't a gift, but a muscle, forged through mental training, you begin to see that impossible is just a word. And it's right here that the brain's hidden systems begin to awaken. The Salience Network. The mind, in its natural state, is like a room full of radios playing all at once. Every noise demands attention, notifications, worries, temptations. But the Salience Network is the brain's internal radar. When a person has a clear goal, this system activates, filtering the static, sharpening the signal. It's not just focus. It's obsessive direction, a burning clarity where only what moves you forward remains visible. Think of Kobe Bryant. To most, shooting free throws alone in an empty gym seems obsessive. To him, it was sacred. His mind, fine-tuned by the Salience Network, treated every shot as a brick in the foundation of greatness. For Albert Einstein, it was one single question, one persistent obsession, that bent his attention for years. How does the universe really work? When the brain deems something emotionally significant, the rest of the world fades to silence. You might feel scattered, jumping from task to task, and wondering why nothing sticks. It's not weakness, it's biology unfocused. But once you decide what matters, truly, deeply, your mind stops negotiating with distractions. It becomes selective, ruthless. You start asking one question before every action. Does this move me closer to my purpose or further away? And when that question becomes instinct, something even deeper awakens in the mind. The dopamine system. Most people think dopamine is about pleasure, like dessert after a long day. But the truth is more powerful. Dopamine is the brain's fuel for the pursuit, not the prize. It's what drives you to chase a dream, even when the path is steep. In those obsessed with greatness, dopamine isn't saved for the finish line. It fires with every step forward, every repetition, every inch of progress. That's why the obsessed don't burn out, they burn brighter. Have you ever wondered why someone would train for an Ironman, pushing their body through pain most couldn't handle? It's not punishment, it's chemical reward. Every swim, pedal, and stride lights up the brain's motivation system, releasing just enough dopamine to say, keep going. The journey becomes addictive in the best way. The work, the grind, it's not a burden, it's nourishment. That's the secret the average never learns. The process itself can be euphoric. To activate this system, you don't need to run marathons or launch the next Apple. You just need a purpose strong enough to pull you. Track your growth. Celebrate small wins. Feel the dopamine not when you arrive, but every time you move. Set daily rituals that reward the effort, not just the results. Journaling, micro goals, visual boards. And once your brain associates effort with pleasure, something extraordinary starts to happen in your prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex. There's a part of your brain that acts like a general in battle, calm, focused, and relentless. It's called the prefrontal cortex, and it's responsible for self-discipline, planning, and control over impulses. When you're obsessed with a mission, this region becomes your mental bodyguard, deflecting distractions with surgical precision. It doesn't beg for focus, it commands it. That's why those driven by a deeper purpose can walk through chaos and never flinch. Steve Jobs was famous, or infamous, for something people called his reality distortion field. But in truth, what he had was an ironclad prefrontal cortex locked onto a vision. He wasn't distracted by opinions, setbacks, or noise, because his brain was chemically and structurally wired for long-term clarity. That's what obsession does. It strengthens the neural networks that protect your focus like armor. Every time you say no to temptation, that armor thickens. You've felt it before, those moments where your mind locks in, and hours feel like minutes. That's your cortex at work. But here's the kicker, you can train it. Start by eliminating distractions from your environment. Silence the phone, clean your workspace, protect your time like treasure. Practice daily planning. Say yes to what serves your mission and no to everything else. And the more you reinforce this mental shield, the stronger your obsession becomes, until it starts to rewire your entire brain. How to train your brain to become obsessive. If obsession is the engine, then mental training is the ignition key. The first step? Choose one goal. Just one. Not 5. Not 3. One mission worthy of your time, your energy, your life. This is how you activate the Salience Network, by declaring what matters above all else. Because the brain thrives on clarity, and clarity is the birthplace of obsession. Now, give that goal emotional weight. Attach meaning so deep that quitting feels like betrayal. Why does it matter? Who suffers if you don't achieve it? What does victory look like? The stronger the emotional significance, the more your dopamine system kicks in to drive action. Write your reason down. Read it every morning. Make it your mental fuel. Because when your heart is tied to your mission, your prefrontal cortex sharpens like a sword. But don't stop there. Eliminate distractions like your future depends on it, because it does. Clean your digital space. Say no to energy vampires. Use focus tools, Pomodoro timers, noise-canceling headphones, and habit trackers. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Keep showing up. Through repetition, you reinforce the neural pathways. That's the essence of neuroplasticity. Your brain bends toward what you repeat. And once it bends far enough, it begins to build a new reality. Conclusion. They'll call you crazy, intense, unbalanced. Let them. Because what they call obsession, the greats call purpose. When your life becomes an echo chamber of doubt and distraction, it's your obsessive focus that cuts through the noise. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's a brain sculpted by repetition, fired by dopamine, shielded by a laser-focused cortex. This is the real science of transformation. The difference between the life you live and the life you dream of isn't talent, it's training. It's learning to say no. It's rewiring your brain through neuroplasticity, fueled by a mission with emotional depth. So let me ask you, right here, right now, what goal in your life is worth reorganizing your entire mind around? What future demands your full attention? Because when you know the answer to that, distraction doesn't stand a chance. Now, if this message hit home, if it lit even a single spark inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Drop a comment telling me what you're obsessing over next. Hit the like, subscribe, and ring that bell, not just for more content, but for accountability. You've got the blueprint now. All that's left is action. So now that you know the truth, that obsession isn't a flaw, but a neurobiological advantage. What are you going to do with it? Will you let your mind continue drifting from distraction to distraction? Or vai treinar su cerebro como verdadeiro arquiteto do impossível? The power is already in your hands. No, melhor dizendo, no su cerebro. The dopamine, the focus, the mental plasticity, it's all there waiting to be directed. But direction doesn't happen by chance. It's a conscious, daily choice. So I ask you, with total seriedade, what is the one goal you're ready to become obsessed with? What would happen if you gave it everything? Drop your answer in the comments. Not for me, for you. And if this video sparked something inside, if it opened your eyes to a strength you forgot you had, then hit like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Because this is just the beginning. You're not here